Ray's Sports and Slams is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Good evening. What's up, everybody? It is Ray's Sports and Slams, episode numero dos. That's Spanish for two. That's right. This show is bilingual. This show is dedicated to all you sports fans out there. If you're a fan of the MLB, NBA, or the NFL, this is the spot for you. We cover everything about sports. This show is dedicated to those who are a fan of the three. I am your host, Ray All Day, and I want to thank you guys for watching. And please, by all means, subscribe to the channel, boinkstudios.com, YouTube, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and all the other media threads. Before I bring my guest into the show, I want to tell you guys, please, like and subscribe. We have a lot to go over today. I want to bring my guest in momentarily, but again, I want to say thank you guys for supporting the show. Thank you for following us. I appreciate everything, and we're going to get into a couple of topics. I'm going to start with Major League Baseball, but before I start this topic, let me bring in my special guest. He is the college football guru. He is the host of the Patton Report. My man, my mellow, Chris Patton. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Brother? Good. Thank you so much for joining, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
Good, man. I can't complain. I can, but no one's listening, so I'll get into that a little later. A lot going on in the world of sports, my friend. I'm going to hop right into it. We have the Major League Baseball playoffs in full throttle. We're down to the Final Four. And it's down to the Dodgers, the Milwaukee Brewers, Seattle, and Toronto. I'm going to start with the American League. Toronto, in my opinion, gave away game one. Their starting pitcher was pitching lights out through 75 pitches, and for some reason they took him out. I don't know what the coach was thinking. In 2025, I guess you can't pitch more than 75, 80 pitches. I remember 10, 15 years ago, you should throw 100, 120, but for whatever reason, took him out. The bullpen blew it. Seattle's up 1-0. It's a battle between George Springer, Carl Raleigh. What are your thoughts, my friend? Who are you taking, and what are your thoughts on Toronto basically giving that first game away?
I'm just getting so used to it in today's current landscape of baseball. Like you said, you don't really see pitchers go full games that often anymore. So it's not surprising. They're going to try to save him for the rest of the series. And if they get through to the World Series, they want to save the arm a bit. But if I had to choose, it's kind of a toss-up for me in this series. But I'm going to go with Seattle.
You're going Seattle, and you're saying what, 4, 5, 6? If you had to give me a certain amount of games,
let's go Seattle in 6.
Seattle in 6. All right. For some reason, I love the way Toronto played, how clutch they are in critical situations. I still want to ride the Toronto Blue Jays wave one more try. I'm going to say that they could take it in 6 or 7, but it's going to be close. They definitely didn't start off to a good start. In the other side of the bracket, you have the LA Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers. Shohei Ohtani is a freak of nature. Guy pitches and hits. 52 home runs this year. Chris Yelich, the star of Milwaukee, I think he had 29 homers and over 100-something RBIs. This is going to be a good series. Milwaukee just came off this huge, monumental comeback to get to this point. Who do you like in this, and what are your thoughts on that?
It's really hard to bet against LA, right? Like they're kind of the favorites headed into the Phillies were the betting favorites heading into this, and they took care of the Phillies 3-1 in the last series. And it's LA always seems to be hitting their stride in the playoffs, whereas the Brewers have been like the girl next door all season. The team, everyone's just kind of happy that they're there and doing well, because you don't really get to hear a lot of people talking about the Milwaukee Brewers most years. But
that's true. Yeah. And Milwaukee had that monumental collapse last year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's one of those things where you kind of want the underdog to win a little bit, or I do. So
okay. I respect that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Dodgers fan. I do like to see Milwaukee try to pull this out as well. Because they went through such a tragic lost last year. They basically was one pitch away from getting to the next round, and their reliever, who's no longer part of the team, gave up that 2-run bomb to Pete Alonso, and I don't think he's recovered from it. And yeah, dude, he's on the Yankees now, and he's been just like, I don't know. He's got the yips, and it's not good for him. So yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that one. It's gonna be a good series though. The Dodgers have the depth. I think the Dodgers have the coaching experience. Milwaukee's this gritty team. Do you think momentum plays into this as well? The fact that, like I said, Milwaukee came back from that huge, 15-inning victory to get to this point?
Yeah, that was a crazy game. And yeah, hopefully, we'll see. But LA's the veteran team. There's a lot of people that have been there before, right? So
True.
it's that plays into it as well. But if you're me rooting for a team to win, I get Milwaukee's the one out of these four that would be for me the most fun to see win. I'm a Braves fan, so I already got the best of the playoffs with the Phillies going out and New York going out.
Hey. Hey. You mean the New York Yankees? Yes, I'm happy they're out too. I know you were
in the Mets collapse was also really good. Being part of that 11-game winning streak the Braves had for absolutely no reason. I'm glad you guys could participate in that at the end of the season.
Oh, okay. I'm going to let those slide. I'm going to let you have your moment. I'm going to let you enjoy this. Oh,
hey,
my
man,
goodness.
the Braves have been basically out of the playoffs since the All-Star break, so it's the little things.
Little things. All right. I'm going to switch over to your favorite sport and the sport that you are the guru of, college football. We're not down to, but right now, the top 3 college teams, as you know, are Ohio State. They call it the Ohio State, which drives me nuts. University of Miami and Indiana. Ohio's led by their quarterback, Justin Sayin. Miami's got Carson Beck, who's a beast. Indiana's got Ferrero Mendoza. Who do you like out of these 3? Who could you potentially see going to a national championship?
Well, I'm going to have to lean on Ohio State because I think they have the best defense of the 3. Indiana has played a pretty weak schedule, and I don't think that they're going to stick around. Even if they make the playoffs, I don't think they're a real threat to a lot of these SEC teams. Your Georgias, your Alabamas that will be coming. Even with the SEC, even if you lose 2 games, you're pretty much you have a shot of getting in there, and that's what happens to a lot of these. Like,
do you think it's due to
teams.
the fact of the difficulty of schedule in that division and in that specific sector?
Yeah, that's part of it. So, like, Indiana will have to go pretty much undefeated to stay at the 3 spot, just because of their difficulty of schedule. Like, college has always been weird with that, but coming from when I first started watching college football, and it's literally just a voters poll of who's going to win the championship. I'm happy to have the playoffs and then soon the extended playoffs because it's made it a lot more entertaining. And the SEC, it's like almost every game is one score right now with how hard they've made their schedules. Like, Georgia just beat Auburn this weekend after nothing happening first half from them. And then coming back to win the game, and they've had 2 in a row that are like that, right? So,
yeah.
It's not Kentucky,
dude.
but
I don't.
So it's been a crazy because mostly I'm watching SEC football for the most part, but I have watched a lot of Miami simply because Carson Beck is there. He's the former quarterback for UGA. And he looks really good. Last year, everyone had him as potential winner of the Heisman going into UGA's schedule, and he's showing kind of the arm he has and the talent that he has as a quarterback. Now that he has some receivers that don't drop the ball constantly, things seem to be.
It's nice to throw the ball and have someone actually catch it.
Right. Yeah. So they look good. Ohio State, out of those 3, I think have the most realistic shot. Because I think they have the defense that matches up with some of these harder SEC teams, whereas Miami playing in the ACC, I don't know how often we're going to get to see them tested, honestly, before the playoffs. So there's some question marks there, but so far they look really good.
Exactly. I'm going to put some of these comments up. First of all, my man Timmy Gonzalez is here. A lot of the story in college football yesterday, coaches getting the pink slip in 4 commitments. Yeah. That was kind of crazy, dude. I don't know what that's all about. You any thoughts on that?
For Penn State, it makes sense. They can't win against a top 5 opponent. and the guy was like 1-11 against top 5 opponents. So I'm not surprised to see that coach
No,
get
definitely not.
shed, especially because they came into the season in the top 5 in polls.
Yes.
So as far as the talent goes and how the talent was evaluated, they should be way ahead of where they are. And they lost to UCLA in a building that was like
Ugh.
half full in a
Yeah.
game that they should not have lost. I know it's a road game, but that's not a great look. So I didn't expect him. It is kind of rare to see college football coaches get fired mid-season. That's more of an NFL thing, but
that's
yeah.
factual. Yeah, you usually don't get fired this early, but yeah, Penn State does look gruesome, dude. I don't know. Fernando's in the chat. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining. In my opinion, right now, from my perspective, you've got to basically, look at the top 2, which is Miami and Ohio State. I feel like you said, not to piggyback off you, Ohio State's in a much difficult, division. Their defense is locked down nonstop, but Miami's got such a potent offense, and Beck is looking like lights out. And that receiver, I don't know his name, the 17-year-old kid on Miami who's playing like a senior. He's playing out of his mind. He's 17 years old. I think he's a redshirt freshman, playing lights out. And I wouldn't be completely shocked if Miami pulled this off. But Indiana would have to go undefeated because they're in such a weak division. And no one's going to give them that credibility of winning the national championship if they don't play some real teams.
Yeah, and I mean, even looking at Miami's schedule, the toughest team they have left is probably SMU.
Yeah.
So it's they have a pretty weak schedule as well. So they're probably going to win out and then be in the ACC championship game. Yeah. And I'm trying to think of who right now. I mean, FSU took a loss. If Georgia Tech probably will not go undefeated because they have Georgia on their schedule. So you could see Georgia Tech versus Miami in the ACC championship game, and that would have an effect on how that plays out.
I think Miami's toughest opponent so far has been Florida State.
I think Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, Notre Dame too. There you go.
Yeah. Florida State kind of looked better than we thought they were because Alabama laid the worst game of their season against FSU. So there was a little bit of FSU kind of getting some love when they weren't necessarily the team that people thought they were coming out of that game.
No, they weren't there. But do you give Indiana any hope? Although they're not, again, in the grittiest of divisions, do you have any hope for them some way, somehow, doing a Hoosier and pulling off a miracle and getting to the national?
I mean, they haven't even played a top. The only team that they have the kind of the same thing going as Miami, where the best team they played was Notre Dame, right?
Let me think of their schedule because I don't really follow that division that much. But yeah, I remember the Notre Dame game.
SC. Nope, that was
it.
That was last year. So far they have played Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, which Illinois was ranked at the time. Indiana beat them. And then they beat Oregon. So Oregon's been the toughest game that they played.
And was it close?
It was 30-20.
Oh, okay. So they actually played them close. So yeah, it's going to take a lot for Indiana. I mean, I like the underdog team, but I think it's the two juggernauts basically running the show right now.
Oregon's interesting as they get highly favorited every year, and Nike spends a ton of money to try to get them a championship and something. They always hit some kind of hiccup. And this year it was Indiana. So that's it'll be interesting to see if they even make the playoffs. Oregon, that is.
Yeah, I don't know. And with college football, it's always division, like strength. If you're undefeated but you've played nobody, no one's going to give you that credibility. Versus you playing in the ACC, you're playing in one of these tougher divisions where you could lose a game or two and still be ranked relatively high because you're playing in such a difficult division. So they give you a lot more leeway.
Yeah, and Indiana's schedule actually is very similar as far as like the strength of opponents, because some of these teams were ranked at the time they played them. Like Illinois was ranked very high at the time they played them, and Oregon was ranked as well. So their schedule kind of matches up with Miami. So as far as where they're placed, this poll doesn't really matter this early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to shake up like 5 or 6 more times. It just takes one loss. If Indiana loses one game for some reason, they could drop all the way to 10. So
That's true.
it's always like that every year.
College football is very flaky like that. One loss and it's a wrap. Like you're just plummet. You have no shot.
But there's been some great games each week. This has been a real fun season. All of these teams with the NIL and the transfer portal, like the parity in college football, I think is better than it ever has been, because it's not, you can't just win by great recruiting, as UGA has shown. They have like one of the top recruiting classes each year, but with people transferring in and out and other teams spending lots of money on NIL deals, the landscape of college football is a lot different. So you can look every weekend and there's going to be a game that's like, oh, there's 2 minutes left and they got the ball. Let's see if they can go down and score a touchdown. It's every week in the SEC at least. Yeah,
it's not about recruiting anymore. It's a lot of other variables. It's changed. The landscape's changed drastically.
Yeah, it's important to have a good recruiting class, but there's teams as we've seen. You go out and you can find yourself a quarterback, and that could dictate how. Miami's a perfect example, right? They picked up Carson Beck, so there you go.
Carson Beck is looks like a different person now because he's playing in a different system with a different coach, with guys that can actually catch the ball. It makes a difference, dude. Makes a difference. All right, as we segue to quarterback changes and how different atmospheres change, I'm going to go right into the NFL, and we're going to talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are 5-1. Yes, 5-1. Daniel Jones, former Giant, known as former Giant known as Danny Dimes, now is looking like Danny $100 bills Jones. He is QBR is in the 80s. He's got Jonathan Taylor. This team is cooking. Do you believe it's the system that's got the Colts playing this well, or is this Daniel Jones one of those quarterbacks that was underrated that didn't get the love he deserved when he was with the Giants?
The biggest thing that people said about Daniel Jones when he was with the Giants, from what I remember, is that their line wasn't there, right? So he was getting hit. Wasn't he like the most sacked quarterback for 2 or 3 years in a row?
Like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and the Giants have addressed that, which is the funny thing, because now they're, you're kind of on the opposite side of that. The Giants seem to have addressed their offensive line after he's kind of gotten shown the door, and they've got their own new future quarterback there. But he's got a better receiving core. I think the Colts have looked really good defensively, which in turn has helped their passing game because they're getting a lot of 3 and outs. So you're able to control the clock more, and he's able to throw a lot more play action passes.
Because you got Jonathan Taylor back there.
Because Jonathan Taylor's back there, and I think it's a better system for him, and has a better offensive line than he had when he was in New York. So, I'm not sold on him being. I don't think that they're sold on him being the future of the franchise either. I think this is more of like the Sam Darnold Minnesota thing last year, where it's clicking. So let's ride the hot hand as long as we need to. But he looks good. Yeah, like there's, I can't say enough good things about how he's been playing. I did not expect the Colts to be 5-1.
No one did. Nobody did.
It's crazy.
But are you again putting it more on the system and the players surrounding him, or do you think he could survive right now on a really poor defensive ridden team? Like there's some quarterbacks, I think no matter what system you put him in, they're going to thrive. Like Pat Mahomes is that guy. I think he would find a way to win with a lot of bad teams.
He was having a hard time finding how to win with his bad team when Rashee Rice was out earlier this season. So I don't know. I'm kidding. But I think the system is helping him here. Like, different quarterbacks thrive. Like Kirk Cousins is a good example, right? He's a very much a play action passer, and you can see how good he is when that stuff is clicking and how bad he is when it isn't. As an Atlanta Falcons fan, I can tell you, watching the 5 games where he wasn't completely on fire, everything was clicking, looked great. Then the injuries started coming up. So Kirk Cousins is, if you put him in, like, let's say if you put him in a system like what they have in Philadelphia, I think him and Jalen Hurts are going to look very similar, right? So some of that does play into it. It has to.
So you're putting Daniel Jones in the same category as Jalen Hurts. I love it. I agree with you. Jalen Hurts is overrated. That's just my opinion. That's my hot take for the night.
It's I think, now
Chris
that
Patton said that first, not me.
he's not having to run for his life like he was when he was a Giant.
Okay.
And that goes a long way because he seems like he is a passer that needs to really have time to be able to scan the field and set up a play action pass for you to get across what you want him to do. And he, like I said, all credit to him. It's working. Whatever they got going in Indianapolis, it's working for them. They're 5-1. I did not expect them to beat Denver week
No.
1. And I definitely, the only team that they really lost to is the LA Rams, who have looked great this season.
Yeah.
That was a hard opponent. I mean, LA Rams are probably one of the favorite teams to potentially go to the Super Bowl. So if that's the only loss you've had,
That's
you're
not
sitting
bad.
at 5-1. You're looking pretty good.
I'm getting to some of the comments. My man Shane is in the house. The Titans fired their head coach today, and Dallas does nothing at defensive coordinator. I don't know what's going on, my friend, with the Cowboys defensive coordinator. What's his name? Eberflus? He is Eber terrible. And he's got to Eber go, because you are not going to win in an NFL game with just scoring and scoring and scoring. If you don't stop the team at some point, you're going to lose. And that's what happened yesterday. Their defense is horrible. And I'm telling you, if you don't do something now, it's going to be a really ugly season. So I agree with you. And the Titans fired their coach. Well, Titans weren't doing much, so I could see why that would happen as well. That team's kind of in shambles. Yeah, there's no organization there. I feel that team is kind of like, I don't know, all over the place.
Yeah, the media's already going off on Cam Ward maybe not being the guy that they thought he was when he got drafted. Now you get the head coach fired, and that's always scary if you're a fan of that team, like if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, because you start going down the rabbit hole of like what the Jets have been going through, right?
Yes.
or the Browns, or how many quarterbacks can you pick? How many different coaches can you have? If you don't get that combination right, you almost start down the road of another 10-year rebuild, which is unfortunate for the Titans, but that's kind of looking like what that might be.
It could look like that, dude. It could. Great segue, because you mentioned it. The Jets are 0-6. Aaron Glenn, I don't know if he's on the hot seat or not, but the team unfortunately looks lost. Aaron Glenn, like him as a person, I think he bit off a little more than he can chew, in my opinion. And from what I've seen, he doesn't call timeouts when he needs to. He plays the run when it's obvious they're going to throw, and he plays the pass when they're obviously going to run. Like, he's just, I don't know. He just seems extremely lost. How bad is this for the Jets?
It's crazy because coming off of week 1, you're like, oh, they might have something here. You get Justin Fields looking like what he was supposed to look like coming out of college. And then now that thing came back down to earth, and the Jets look like they have for the past, I don't know, the majority of my life. But yeah, it's a weird one with Aaron Glenn, because I don't necessarily think this is his fault. He's kind of brought into a situation where Jeff Ulbrich was the former defensive coordinator and was able to get that Jets defense to be something that was feared. They've had a lot of turnover and talent there. He's now the defensive coordinator because they made him the interim head coach, in which he was fired last year. Now he's the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
The Falcons defense is first in the league right now.
Yes. How crazy is that?
Which is crazy in itself. And we'll see how long that stat lasts, because they actually play Jake Allen tonight. So that could change very quickly.
Good.
That'll be a very good game. But yeah, it's kind of hard. You can't blame it all on Aaron Glenn, right? They don't have a quarterback. The only receiver they really have is Garrett Wilson.
But you have decent defense. You have some decent pieces there.
You do, and they're not losing. They're not getting blown out the majority of these games, right?
No.
Like, it's not. But if your offense is just going 3 and out, like, eventually you're gonna, the other team's gonna figure out your defense and start scoring, which is seemed to be what's happened to the Jets.
So you don't put the ball on Aaron Glenn at all?
Well, no, I mean, like, who's the offensive coordinator? That's more of what you're talking about, because they can't score, right?
Yeah.
So Aaron Glenn is more of a defensive-minded head coach. It's one of those kind of things where it's like, well,
so he's leaning on the wrong offensive coordinator at this point.
And even that, I don't know how you fix the Jets, right? Like, Justin Fields is, like I said, came back down to earth from week 1, and you're kind of getting what you would expect out of Justin Fields. And there's just not enough, outside of Mason Taylor looking good, their tight end draft pick, there hasn't been a lot to be excited about with the Jets offense. They haven't been able to get Breece Hall going in a way, a meaningful way. Garrett Wilson is kind of having an underwhelming season, but that can also tie into, like I said, Justin Fields. They're a weird team. They're a nightmare. It's just a constant rebuild. It's a constant rebuild.
But let me ask you this. I don't know if you watched the game yesterday, which was in London. And I think me and my buddy, Mr. Tom Clark, talked about this last week, how these games are in London now. Yes, NFL, they're going worldwide. When they played yesterday in London, he had a chance to call a timeout to set up a field goal to at least go ahead at half, and he didn't. He just stood there like looking like a lost puppy. I mean, don't you put the ball on him to some degree with that? That was a big, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's the head coach, right? So it's on him at that point. The only thing that it could have been one of those situations where maybe they were looking for one shot at the end zone, a change of pace, and then not call a timeout. I didn't catch the games. But anytime
he had like 11 seconds left, and he just let it just dwindle down. He could have thrown one play, at least try to get in field goal range, because they would think they were down 13-11. Could have just gone up at the half. Like, I don't understand why he didn't try to like a 10, 15-yard slant out or something to, again, get his kicker in field goal range to at least make the attempt, and at least, like I said, take that lead going into half, build some momentum for the team. He stood
I will say that their
like a lost puppy, bro. Like, he was like deer in headlights. What am I doing? And he's just letting the clock go tick, 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 tick. And he's just standing there like, should I do something?
This goes back to some of the Jets team building. Their kicker is Nick Folk, who is 42, 43 years old and was the kicker for the Jets 15 years ago and is on his second term of duty.
Ooh.
So it's possible that he doesn't necessarily have the leg.
Okay.
To get it from how far out they were.
He's not a Brandon Aubrey. I gotcha.
Yeah. So depending on, I don't know how far out that kick was. If you're talking like a 50-plus yarder for Nick Folk, they would have had to at least take one shot down the middle of the field, then call a timeout and try to get lined up and kick a field goal. Maybe.
But with 11 seconds, you have the timeout.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I didn't see.
They were on the 50. But he could have gotten it to at least the 37 and made a difficult kick. I'm not guaranteeing Nick Folk would have hit it, but I would at least given him the shot. At least made. What do you got to lose at this point? Again. It builds momentum. You go into the locker room. Hey guys, we're up now. We got this. Da 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 da. We took advantage of their mishap. We got this field goal. Let's go. And now you go into the locker room like, ugh. And everybody's pulling the blame. Like, why didn't you call timeout? And the quarterback is looking at like Aaron, like, dude, why didn't you tell me to call timeout? Like, it just was an ugly look.
I'm looking at Justin Fields' stat line to see if he would have had any confidence in him in this game. If we're being honest,
Justin Fields, I don't think he's that bad.
He hasn't thrown an interception this year, but I mean, the worry is let's say you run like a bubble, right? You're trying to get to, you run like a screen and someone takes it back to the house the other way. So I'm not making any excuses, but it's not the craziest thing if they're at the 50 that they don't think that Nick Folk's going to boot it, knock in a 50-yard field goal for them. Maybe it was a risk reward. It's terrible for them though, because I think that's pretty much the score the game ended at.
Yes. I was going to go there after you were done. I was like, you realize they lost by that score. So yeah, that was a huge, I don't know. And like I said, do I think Nick Folk could have hit it from 50? Probably not, because he's, what'd you say, 67 years old?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So do I think he could have hit it? No, but would I like to at least give him this shot to give the Jet fans a little hope to say, hey, let's, again, do something. But,
Nick Folk is the same exact age as Joe Louis when he lost to Rocky Marciano. That's what we're saying.
You are insane. Oh, we have another guest in the house, Majestic Marie, my partner in crime. What's up? Thank you so much for watching. She's a big Georgia Bulldog fan as well. I gotta fix her.
Yeah, go Dogs.
Yeah, gosh. Ugh. But yeah, I mean, not to harp on this, I just felt like 11 seconds. You have Wilson, top receiver in the NFL, could have run a deep route, 15, 20 yards, put Folk in at least field goal attempt mode, at least put him in a situation where he could have missed. But at least there's nothing to miss. You don't try.
Yeah, I mean that's total lack of confidence in your team as a head coach. If you just walk off the field, it kind of shows how you feel about how the
Yeah.
season's going so far.
So you think he actually let the clock run down intentionally? Or you think he just said, I don't know what I'm doing?
I don't know unless they were trying to unless they didn't know what play they were going.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Actually,
unless they were going with a speed tempo.
It was awful, dude. I don't know. Like he just looked like I watched the highlights and I saw it again. He just looked deer in headlights. He didn't know what he was doing. Again, to your point, he maybe didn't have the confidence in his kicker. Maybe he thought, why go in halftime with the negative? Hey, we just missed a field goal. Now the kicker has no confidence if he needs to win the game later in the third or fourth quarter. Valid argument. But I think, again, you want the team to go in the half with some momentum, and a lead definitely wouldn't hurt the Jets. Do you see this team winning any games this year?
Yeah, I mean, if they win this game, it doesn't mean anything for their season. They're 1-6 instead of 0-6, and they're still a terrible team. And firing Aaron Glenn is also not going to help the situation. We saw that last year with the firing of Robert Saleh. In fact, they backslid when that happened. They look worse, and that was with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So
who's looking like a beast?
There's just a lot that needs to happen for the Jets, and as they lock up some of these long-term deals with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner and eat away at that cap, I don't necessarily know how they go about fixing it. Like I said, with the exception of the 2 playoff runs that Rex Ryan had, this team has been pretty terrible my entire life outside of the team that lost to the Denver Broncos when the Denver Broncos went to the Super Bowl. That was like, what, 96?
Yeah, 95, 96, right?
Yeah, that's your Vinny Testaverde, Curtis Martin, Keyshawn Johnson team. That's the last time the Jets were truly good.
I got you. Do you see them winning any? Could they be the first 0-for team in the 17-game series that goes 0-for? Could you see them winning anything?
Well, they play Miami. So
okay, so that could be.
There's a good.
That could be your one.
They have a good shot at least winning one game, especially after Tua coming out, calling his teammates out over the weekend for not showing up at players only meetings. I have no idea what's going on with that team. You talk about coach fired. They need to do some housekeeping over there.
At least on
the Jets, the team hasn't turned against the coach yet. Where it seems the opposite down in Miami.
Yeah, they hate the coach. At least in the Jets, there's at least some united front. At least it looks like they're all united. Lost team, but at least they're staying by each other. I do agree with you there. The Dolphins look like they want to just hang their coach. It looks bad.
I mean, if you're a Jets fan, if you're being honest with yourself, do you just want to go 0-17 and have the quarterback of your choice next year? I mean, I think that's in the draft. You're going to have there's some great prospects coming out of college this coming year.
Yes,
and
the Manning is there. Well, I don't know.
He's kind of said that he was going to stay.
Oh, did he?
One more year. Most of the Manning boys have stayed all 4 years in college. So I wonder if he's going to follow suit there. And honestly, after watching him play this year, I don't think one extra year in college would be the worst thing for him.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Especially with that Manning blood in your system, dude, you're going to be fine.
Boink Studios YouTube is the home of Ray's Sports and Slams, Tom Clark's Main Event, The Patton Report, Bear Mode, a podcast review of The Bear, and a lot more. Subscribe to the channel for archives that date back to 2014, with new content being uploaded every week. And check out boinkstudios.com for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Bookmark the site today.
Wendy's in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, guys. Please, again, like, share, subscribe, boinkstudios.com, Ray Sports and Slams. I appreciate all the love. It is definitely, felt from the heart. All right, I'm going to switch gears now. We're going to get into some NBA. There are 2 big names out there that have lost a considerable amount of weight. For the Los Angeles Lakers, Luka Doncic, who just signed a big contract extension with the Lakers. I think he's dropped 45, 50 pounds. Zion Williamson, who plays for the New Orleans Pelicans, powered forward. He's dropped at least another 40, 50 pounds. Who do you think makes a bigger impact this year, considering their role on the team and how they're basically the focal point of both teams?
For Luka, I think it's more important because it's going to lead to him potentially not having as much weight on his knees right? And hopefully we'll keep him healthy for the entire season, because you have to worry about with LeBron James coming out with sciatica this year, how available he is. And the Lakers have obviously kind of passed the torch to Luka at this point as being their primary offensive option. So him losing weight and being healthy and kind of seemingly dedicating himself to a team. Not that he wasn't dedicated to Dallas, but this is the most we've seen him as far as like these off-season training videos and amount of effort he's putting forth to this. And I wonder how much of that is just the LeBron aspect of that. Like, you're playing with LeBron, you want to be in the best shape you can be, because LeBron himself looks like a Terminator or something.
He spends $1 million on his body, bro. Like, that's crazy. He looks phenomenal. I mean, LeBron is, 84 years old and he looks fantastic. So I give him a lot of credit.
I mean, it shows the longevity, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you have that veteran in your locker room that's saying, hey man, you got to get your stuff together. I know you can play at this weight and you play really well at this weight, but you need to get healthy, right? If you want to be around for as long as I've been around, which is something that LeBron can definitely say. Like, the longevity of his career is probably one of the most impressive things about LeBron.
No question about it. I give him all the props for his longevity. But let me ask you this, and then I will give you my take. Zion Williams is actually known for eating very bad. He's a big fast food guy. He's a McDonald's guy. He's a Burger King guy. He's an In-N-Out guy. Do you see him slipping, or do you think he could stay on this path of staying slim and healthy and, maybe helping the Pelicans win?
Hopefully he can stay on the path, man. Like, gosh, I just remember watching the highlights of him in high school and how dominant he was. And I don't think we've really seen that in the NBA, right? Like, he's super talented. And if cutting the weight seems to help him, we'll see. But he does play a lot more physical. Like, Luka and Zion are two completely different players. So hopefully he's putting that weight back on in muscle mass at some point. Cause he plays a lot more grindy than Luka as far as getting down into the paint. It's just kind of how Zion plays.
Facts. My take is, Luka is more of a finesse player, more of a scorer, shooter. He's not going to go into the paint and, box you out and try to dunk on you. He's not that type of player. He's not a power player. He's a more finesse guy. Can shoot the lights out. Zion is more of that true forward. He's playing hard. He's playing aggressive. He's trying to, jam it down your throat. I don't know if the weight loss is going to help him, like you said, when it comes to matching up with these bigger guys. But, the weight was messing his knees up. He's having a lot of knee problems, back issues. And, the guy's young, and he's the focal point of the team. They do have Brandon Ingram, who's no joke. People sleep on Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is an all-star. I do like this team. But Luka, to me, looks like he could hold on to it longer, because I don't know. He has that vibe that he probably does eat. I mean, LA, I've been to LA several times. I don't know if you've heard, but I'm a big Laker fan. He tends to, look like he probably eats healthy normally. And if you've been to LA, there's not a lot of bad places out there to eat. They do have In-N-Out, which is fire, but Zion's in New Orleans, gumbo, a lot of bad food. It's easy to pack the pounds in New Orleans. I mean, I've been there. I'm sure you might have been there. Everything's fried. Everything's not the most healthiest of foods. So I want to see Zion be successful. I want to see him, keep this off, for his career stake. But do you see
how
that
much
being a
like
pull?
As an organization, like, how do you address that though, right? Like, at some point, are you sending a personal chef to his house? Does he have a nutritionist? Because I feel like, out in LA with Luka, because of the veteran presence of like LeBron, he's probably hooked up with LeBron's nutritionist. He's got like a private chef. This man's being put through the ringer of like, no, man, we need to win one more. We got to win one more championship for LeBron. It's a little different with because it's, I mean, while it is definitely shifting to Luka's team, it's not Luka's team right now. So you have LeBron looking over your shoulder at everything you're doing, where Zion is the guy. So the only, like, I don't know who's there.
You don't think Brandon Ingram plays a factor? Because Brandon Ingram was an all-star, like I said.
He's an all-star, but do you think that he's going to hold him? He's the guy that's going to hold him accountable? You think he has that kind of veteran leadership with Zion to be like doing the check-ins like LeBron would be doing?
Yeah, because
Like think going back to the
LeBron's calling him
Bulls.
at 10, 11 o'clock at night. What are you eating? How many carbs did you take in? How many macros?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's like the Michael Jordan keeping Dennis in line, right? Like keeping Rodman in line kind of thing. Like when you have that kind of presence on your team, it makes some of that stuff a lot easier for your franchise.
M&D breaks up a really valid point. When he was with Dallas, they were literally telling him he's got to lose weight. And I think that's the reason why they got rid of him, because he didn't want to lose weight. So, yeah, valid argument. I feel, I think the pressure was on him. Yeah, and you know, in LA,
I mean, that's what I was getting. What I was getting at is the only thing that really changed was the location, right? So is it just the veteran presence of the coach and LeBron James and LeBron James saying, hey, like, look, if you want to last in this league, you got to take care of your body, right? Like that goes a long way. Like I said, with Dallas, Luka was the guy.
Yes.
Right now, he's not the guy, you know.
But
he's playing with
he's playing
with that generation's Michael Jordan, so it's a little different.
But hear me out. With LeBron being out for, they say, 4 weeks with this sciatica thing, you don't think Luka's going to just dominate and take over that team?
Well, I mean, even if he does, this is still. I mean, it's still LeBron's team for this year, right? Mm-hmm. So that goes back into what I was saying, like. It's more about the presence himself, the veteran presence, the leadership. That's all going to play a factor, whereas Zion doesn't really have that.
I got
you. So it's just a different situation. And Luka didn't have that in Dallas either.
And honestly, brought up a good point. New Orleans, lots of fried foods, dude. Very good.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe make him move to LA and just fly him out on a private jet each way.
Eric is in the house. Zion has to prove that he's mentally tough and disciplined to take care of his body and show he's always relying on natural talent. Agreed. And natural talent only gets you so far. If you're not in shape, you may have the will and the desire to play well. But, if you don't have the physical body to do it, it's very difficult. So to Eric's point, I agree with you 1,000%. It's hard, dude. Like, I feel they go neck and neck. The discipline, the training, and everything else. You may have the desire. I may want to run 10 miles, but if I'm 60 pounds overweight, I'll get to mile 2 and have a heart attack.
Well, I mean, it's, and sometimes it happens like that with players. Like if you think about, we'll go back to the NFL for a second, but think about like everyone thought Randy Moss was kind of washed, and then he goes to New England, right? New leadership, different players that had been there before, and you see a completely different Randy Moss who has the best season of his entire career. All right. And that team goes undefeated. So I think, a lot of that plays into the organization. LA is a well-regarded organization. And then you look at the Pelicans, that is a team that's been relocated 3 times. And honestly, Zion is probably the biggest star they've ever had.
Oh, Maurice breaks up another valid argument. Charles Barkley had Moses Malone. That's why he kept thin, because Charles Barkley was another guy that had problems with his weight. And he had that leadership. Maybe Brandon Ingram isn't that guy. So, you do have a valid argument. Eric says, yes, Luka will take over the team. LeBron needs rest, takes games off, needs load management at his age. I agree 1,000%.
If he's talking about his sciatica already this season, expect him to be pulling the Larry Bird, like instead of sitting on the bench, just laying on the floor.
Yeah.
As they head into the playoffs this year.
Yes, I know. Exactly. But Luka's I think he can hold this down longer because, he's got LeBron breathing down his neck. There's no way you're going to see Luka put on 30 pounds in a couple of weeks because LeBron won't let it happen.
I'm a Hawks fan, so we have the opposite of Luka here with Trae Young.
Ice Trae.
And Porzingis.
Yes.
Jalen Johnson. We got a little bit of a lineup going out here.
I love Ice Trae. Ice Trae.
A 5-man team with some actual names on it. What?
Get out of here.
They're 1-1 in preseason so far. So we'll see. We'll see how things go.
All right. Speaking of LeBron, as you all know, just past Wednesday, he made his second decision. For those who don't remember the first decision, he took his talents to Miami. The second decision, a lot of people speculated that he was going to retire. And because of those facts, the ticket sales for his last game in LA went from $45 to $400. And unfortunately, one fan in particular bought 2 tickets, paid $800. And it turns out LeBron is not retiring. Rather, he is signing a deal with a Hennessy company, Hennessy VSOP. And this poor dude is suing. I don't know how much validity he's going to have in this suit. Suing the NBA, suing LeBron. I don't know if he's suing the Lakers for his $800 because those tickets are now basically worth the $45 they were initially worth before LeBron made his decision. What is your take on this, dude? I'm very, very disgusted with this. I didn't think it was cool, but I want you to take the ball with this first and give me your thoughts.
So my take on the lawsuit or my take on LeBron?
Give me both.
Using...
Give me both,
okay.
My friend. Ball is in your card. I'm literally throwing you a bounce pass. Go.
Okay. Yeah. So the lawsuit itself, that guy's it's going to get settled out of court, and he's probably going to make some money off that.
So you really think he has a valid argument here?
It doesn't matter if I think he has a valid argument. It just matters if they're going to settle it to make it go away, right? I do think that whoever is on this ad campaign with some of the things LeBron has done over the past few years, this is not the first time we've had like a weird LeBron ad campaign kind of tied to the decision or the decision to, which is funny. It's something you would think that he wouldn't want to relive because that was criticized very heavily when he did that thing and said he was taking his talents to Miami, as someone who watched that live. Yeah. It's kind of disgusting. I mean, especially if you're charging ticket prices and those increase, but some of that is secondary market, right? There's only so much you can do. I know even here, like when he comes to town, those tickets, they go, LeBron comes to town. It's like, you don't know if it's the last time you're going to see him. So the ticket prices are ridiculous anyways, whether he's running an ad campaign or not.
I hear you, but let me ask you this. If you know that your favorite player is retiring, like I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. And when he made his decision, he was retiring that year and was going on his tour of, these are my last games here. And he was in New York. He played the Knicks. I paid what I had to pay to see him because I knew this was it. It wasn't a psych, I'm going to play one more year or, I might come back. He was done. And I don't regret making that, that payment. Maybe Mrs. All Day was not happy because it cost me a nice penny. But nevertheless to say, he did things right. LeBron, gassed everybody up. And this poor fan, can't sell these tickets. Now I paid $100. He's lucky he could get back face what they said there. I think they were normally $45 tickets. So, it's a really ugly situation. And yeah, maybe they will.
I mean, it's an ugly situation, but at some point these lawsuits are ridiculous, right? Because I guarantee you he's not asking for the price. If the lawsuit was like, hey, pay me what I paid for the ticket, right? If that's the lawsuit, but we know that that's not the case. No,
that's not the case. There's no way he's saying, give me my $100 back.
This is going to be like a $2 to $5 million lawsuit for what would we call it?
Mental stress and anxiety, and I couldn't sleep. He's going to come up with every other BS excuse. But I would be content, honestly, with my $800. Just give me back what I paid for these. Because if the organization was willing to do that, I'm cool with that. I don't know if he's going to get this or not. I mean, you're taking the road that they want to get rid of this because it's bad publicity, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this thing immediately got buried. Before even the lawsuit got announced, a lot of people were kind of disgusted with the decision to as a thing. So I think the Lakers and the NBA will probably settle this thing out, not for what the guy's asking for, but for a nice sum of money and give him some tickets to other games. It'll just go away.
Yeah, they want to get rid of this. It's a big market. You don't want that bad publicity. Emmy says a lot of people thought he's retiring. They knew exactly what they were doing. I don't know if LA knew that he wasn't retiring. I think that only him and Clutch Sports knew what he was doing. I just think it wasn't such a good move for him to do it like that. To literally
bait and switch to set up a liquor ad.
Like,
it's not a good look.
It's just not a good look, dude. If he would have said, I'm, donating some money to his great charity or something noble. You're supporting a liquor company, bro. Like, come on.
Well, I mean, like Cleveland fans could have told you that the decision never goes the way you think it's going to.
Yes. Yes. Good point. Fernando says Kobe, Magic Johnson, Kareem never did things like this. Yes. And like I said, I told you my Kobe story. When he announced his retirement, dude, it was literally it. And there was no hoodwinking or bamboozleness. It was, hey, we're done. And it is what it is.
Well, I mean, LeBron's comparison is Michael Jordan. He retired twice.
But
And
Michael
came
Jordan
back twice.
But Michael Jordan didn't make an announcement that he was endorsing a cigar company or a liquor company.
He didn't need to. He had his own. He had his own shoe company known as Nike.
Yes,
Things were already
exactly.
worked out pretty well for MJ.
All right. Following the Lake show, we're going to end this with the Lakers got their first preseason win yesterday, 126-116. Kobe of the Ozarks, Austin Reeves, dropped 21-3-3. I know it's preseason, but the Lakers, I think, look legit. JJ Redick, I think he's a great coach. He's got this team kind of pumped up. They have a legit center now. If LeBron can some way somehow get off his static eye issues, could you see the Lakers actually doing something this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're definitely going to make the playoffs. I don't know how deep that run looks, but they're set up for success. We kind of saw that at the end of last year. I thought the team started clicking. So
yeah,
they looked good in the. I didn't see the entire game. I did watch some highlights before it coming on the air today, and Austin Reeves looked great.
DeAndre Ayton looked good. Because I think Lakers last year were getting crushed because they had no one in the paint. They had no center. And
that was the common complaint, right? Is like, well, LA's increased their scoring with Luka, but they have done nothing for their defense. So even if they crack into the playoffs, like, what's that going to look like? Which I think that question still exists, though. It's kind of, we're one game into
I mean, it's very, very early. I just noticed that at least they look much better than they did last year. I think DeAndre Ayton is an all-star. He's legit center. He's not a bench player. He's a starter. He looks good. I mean, hopefully, knock wood, he stays healthy. And again, I think the Lakers can make some noise this year, depending on, LeBron and his health, and his sciatica issues and all that stuff. And maybe he's not going to promote a new milk or an orange juice or a new ice cream or something. So we'll just see.
Well, they have the advantage of Luka being there for the full season this year. So LeBron, his timetable of having these recovery games isn't going to hurt the team as much. It's like 82-game season. So, if he misses a quarter of that, is it going to be the worst thing with Luka there to kind of carry that load? I think that they're in a better situation when they were last year. You're going to end up with a fresher LeBron headed into the playoffs, which I think is a good thing for the LA Lakers.
Because he could definitely load manage this year because Luka, will be a full year on the roster. Yeah, and he could take a game over by himself, and LeBron can kind of play, Robin right now and let Luka be Batman for a little while.
Yeah, and those two can do that if Luka needs that time off, which hopefully he doesn't this year, but in the past he's had to load manage as well. Being able to switch those two guys out and have a bona fide star that can take over a game in either of them is not the worst thing, not the worst problem for the LA Lakers.
Oh, Melanie Guzman has a great comment. Lakers all day. What do I say to that? I say to you, thank you. Yes. I agree with that comment. Very good comment. Let's wrap this up. This is the buzzer beater. This is the time where you guys can ask us literally anything. Sports related, anything pop culture related. Please ask away, and we will close it out with that. We're going to go right into it. The Knicks and Thunder are going to the finals. Thoughts on that right there, Fernando? I would say very probably not. I think the Knicks could potentially, because the East is very depleted. Every superstar on the East is hurt. So that's a possibility.
No. I mean, the Knicks, when's the last time the Knicks went to a finals? I think the betting odds are pretty low on that. I'm going to go with nah.
No. Do you see the Thunder repeating?
I could see that. I could actually see that.
Okay.
In the East.
But Boston, you got to remember, Tatum's out.
Tatum's out for the full year with an Achilles, right?
Achilles. So they're the big juggernaut. And
yeah, but I'm not going to
Indiana's guard. I'm
not going to pick against my Hawks. It's obviously the Hawks are going to the finals.
Oh, exactly.
In franchise history.
Oh my God. Emmy asked a good question. Do you think the Warriors are going to the finals because both Curry brothers are now on the team? Steph Curry is 83 years old, so no. I think the team is just too old. If this was a younger Steph and a younger Draymond and the rest of the guys, yeah, this team is, in my opinion, they're just too old.
You got a tough road.
They have a very tough road.
Just to get to the finals. So it's I don't know. Steph is still incredible to watch.
He is.
He's one of my favorite players.
Great question. More influential rap group, NWA or Public Enemy? Woo! I like that one, my friend. I'm gonna let you take that one first.
I'm going to go with NWA because not only just from the music perspective, but what they did to LA hip hop culture and even the way people decided to dress and things coming off of NWA.
Yes, the Raider jacket became very popular, whether you lived in LA or not. 100%. I'm going to go with NWA too, just because of, like you said, the fashion aspect of it. Public Enemy is still one of the greatest rap groups of all time, but
Public Enemy, as far as musical influence, you could maybe make an argument for Public Enemy if we're just talking about influence into music, because their style of political rap, I think, did touch a lot of other artists.
Yes, indeed. Number 11, Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is phenomenal, but he's got a coach that makes you play 800 minutes a game. That coach is out of his mind. You have a bench for a reason, dude. Use your bench. The Knicks, as good as they are, dude, you got to get rid of this coach. Thibodeau is just one of those guys that doesn't believe in using your bench. I think this bench averages less minutes than any team in the NBA. And as you know and I know, dude, you're not going to win games with a starting five that's it's not.
Well, I mean, you'll win games when it doesn't matter, right?
Yes.
That's the thing. You're going to win a bunch of regular season games. You're going to get into the playoffs. Everybody's going to be gassed. You're going to start getting injuries, and then you're out in the first or second round.
Exactly. Once you get deeper into the playoffs, dude, when you're not maximizing your bench, you know,
and when teams are actually playing defense, and you're not.
Yes.
You're not near the All-Star break, and everyone's just kind of jogging around.
Yeah. I mean, I realize, Eric, like you said, they did get rid of their coach, but I think he has that same mentality. I think he's one of those coaches that believes in your starting five again. You need a more modern coach, dude. You need a coach that, like I said, uses the whole team, because the Knicks, as talented as they are, and I believe in Jalen Brunson, dude, you can't run and gun five guys 42 minutes every night. It's not going to work. Just food for thought. All right, well, brother, listen, I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight, dude. You are awesome. Great talk. I want you to plug your stuff and tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, so if you like video games, movies, music, wrestling, those kind of things, check out the Patton Report. The last episode was on the first 3 Pokemon games, Red, Yellow, and Blue for Game Boy. So check that out. And then also Bachman's Basement. If you're a Stephen King fan, check out Bachman's Basement. We're going through a bunch of his books, some of his lesser-known works, and both of those are available on Boink Studios YouTube, Spotify, all the other various places. If you want to talk to me, hit me at christopher.r.patton on Facebook or christopher.r.patton on Instagram.
Thank you, my friend, brother. I definitely appreciate you joining us. I definitely am going to bring you back, especially as college football gets deeper. I'm going to need your guidance on this. And yeah, dude, I'm glad you're part of the Boink Studios family, dude. Great having you on, and I do much love. And like I said, I look forward to having you on again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, brother. Well, there you go, dude. Thank you again for following the Rays Sports and Slam show. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys for commenting, liking, subscribing. Please, watch out for future shows. I have some other guests coming up. A lot of things are going on. You guys are awesome. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate you. And I will see you next week, Monday, 6 o'clock. Please don't forget to watch. Have a good night, guys. See you next week.